Welcome to the Career Refresh Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Griffin. I'm a former media and marketing executive turned career strategist and executive coach. I spent my career working my way up and through the ranks of global organizations and startups, and today I show others how to do the same. Join me each week as we discuss the strategies and actionable steps to leverage your strengths, increase your confidence, and develop your career well-being. Ready? Let's do it. Hey, I'm Jill Griffin, and this is the Career Refresh. Okay, friends, I recently just spent a week in Ireland with my mentor coach and a few other small business owners. We rented this incredible manor house, and there was a time where we were doing a mix of like touring around, hiking, formal seated dinners with a private chef, live entertainment we brought to the house each night. I mean, the Irish culture is just so beautiful. And also exploring, little seaside hamlets and doing lots of walking, lots of fresh air. Really, really incredible time. And it got me thinking, as I was preparing for the trip and reflecting upon coming back, I never check luggage. I am a completely overhead compartment gal, and I take pride in this level of Tetris that I play with myself. I have been to Israel for a month and I did not check a bag. I have been to Italy for over a month and I didn't check a bag. It is like, how can I make it work? So I find the way to mix and match clothes, a bit of high and low fashion, summer and spring weather in this case. I was ready. And in the days before I left, I wondered if I was prepared for the flight, meaning it's been a while since I've flown overnight in economy class. And yes, one of the perks of my previous job is that I was able to fly business or first class whenever I flew over a certain amount of time. But on this particular trip, there were no seats left. So I flew economy. And I kept thinking, okay, I'm ready, but I'm not prepared because I skipped a major piece of the equation. I got to thinking about the difference between readiness and preparedness and how we need both, not just for overnight flights, but also for today's job market. Readiness is a state of the body, right? It's a state of being ready. It's about being emotionally and mentally ready. You're able to respond or act quickly because you've prepared. You're poised, you're willing, you're leaning in. It makes me think of when I used to do jiu-jitsu, right? You were bracing yourself and you were leaning in. You were ready for the interaction, the combat, right? Preparedness means you're primed. You've done the work. You're knowledgeable, you're experienced, and you're well-versed. And being prepared is about both thinking through the mindset part of it and perhaps the doing if there is studying or absorbing of content that is needed to be done. And if you've been around for a bit, you know that I talk about how our thoughts and feelings influence the actions we take. So it's so important to manage our minds and be intentional with what we are creating. That is being prepared. It's running threads of possibilities through your mind. It's about having a plan A, B, and C, being prepared so that you're ready. Readiness comes from sensing that change and a moment might happen, and then it's the opportunity to act, right? One could even say it is the fearless moment, right? We still might have fear, but it's fearless because we have prepared. And it requires that level of preparedness to meet the challenge of change. It's also a function of skill sets and knowledge, like knowing your career narrative, reviewing the board presentation, knowing your talking points for today's meeting, and having your executive or higher level resume ready, right? Your cover letter, it's ready. You fill in the last few pieces, but you are ready. It's knowing what to say if your CEO bumps into the elevator and asks you, What would you do if I gave you an extra $5 million for marketing? True story, by the way. Ready also means that you can start at a moment's notice. It's quick. It's the prompt, quick action, again, because you are prepared. Preparedness is the act of becoming qualified. It's studying a prospective client's business. It's understanding industry conditions. It's understanding the nuances of your subject matter expertise. It's taking time to run through the day of meetings that you're going to have today and your workload and your family commitments and your priorities and thinking how you need to prepare in order to be thinking the way is going to be most productive and efficient for you to create the results that you want. It's absorbing content, insights, and ideas about a topic so you can then marinate on them and adapt. You prepare by embracing uncertainty and knowing whatever is thrown at you today, that you are going to have a really good brain and you're going to figure it out because you prepare to be ready. It's thinking through how you're going to fold your 5'10" body into a space for 6 hours. It's planning your thoughts ahead of time and practicing what you want to be thinking. And no, you're not always going to be thinking the best thoughts, right? But if you prepare ahead of time and you find the thoughts that serve you, then when your brain decides to be a complete jerk, you have a much greater chance of pivoting before you get dragged into the undertow. But here's the thing. You have to do the preparedness work in order to be ready. Preparedness work may require communication, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, financial literacy, mindset, time, and stress management. It can be digging in on all things artificial intelligence or AI and also using, voice search for personal finance or latest research on commerce or how to explore using Zapier and voice to text to populate your Trello project management board so you can be ready to send yourself hand-free notes when you are driving. Because yes, a peer of mine did that. She's utterly brilliant. Literally figured out a way to use Zapier to create a voice-to-text signal so that when she's driving or she didn't have her hand, she was able to send her a note that immediately populated her Trello board. Come on. Preparedness is a continuous cycle of planning, organizing, training, equipping, exercising, evaluating, and taking corrective action. Preparedness helps you stay flexible. It helps you get ready. So going back to my overnight flight, I was ready. Everything was packed. I had my snacks, my headset, my eye mask. I was on time. But I hadn't prepared my mind for the 6-hour journey. I hadn't prepared that the people next to me may want to stay up and talk all night because they're super excited about what they're doing. Meanwhile, I'm going, I got to get some sleep so I can hit the ground running once I hit Ireland. Right? Funny. I talk about mindset and performance for a living. I was busy doing of getting ready, but not in the being, not in the preparing. You can never fix a thought problem with an action. And I'm going to say that again. So the action was readiness. The thought was preparedness, but I had jumped right to the readiness, right to the action, and I hadn't prepared my brain. And I totally fell into it. So look, I got excited. I forgot the most important piece. It's not a big deal. That's why the universe created bathrooms. So I just recentered, got into it. And look, we need to prepare first. We study, we shift our mindset so that we are ready to go. However, it's possible to go through the motions of readiness and not have prepared yourself. So here are some other ways that this could show up. Tactics without a strategy, a resume without a clear path or story for what's next, a job interview without knowing how your past successes are repeatable, scalable, and transferable, and an overnight flight without the mental work to adjust to people in a tight space when you want to sleep. And as my lovely coach would say, listen. She had the best accent. She totally cracks me up. I am about always being ready. And the key in today's job market is that you have to prepare for the future goal. You have to think about the future you. What does that future you need? And when you are prepared, it is a hell of a lot easier to be ready. So if you are looking for support to get prepared and ready, check out the link in the show notes. Get on my list. Let's talk. All All right, friends, have a great week. And as always, tell me, how are you preparing and getting ready? Drop me an email at hello@jillgriffincoaching.com, and I will see you on the other side. Hey, thanks for listening to the Career Refresh podcast. If you're enjoying this and you want more information, go to my website, jillgriffincoaching.com. There you can find information on how to work with me one-on-one, or my group programs, or even bring me into your workplace. I'll put the link to my website in the show notes. But hey, listen, before you go, do me a favor, rate and review this podcast because it definitely helps me get the word out to people everywhere so that they can also thrive in the workplace. All right, friends, I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.